Hi guys. Okay, I'm gonna help you learn how to improve your language learning abilities so you can learn a language a lot faster than you're actually learning now. I'm actually gonna share with you my biggest mistakes I've learned learning a language. So right now, I consider myself bilingual. I taught myself Spanish in about 7 months, and right now I'm currently learning Chinese, but I don't actually can say I speak Chinese yet. So today I want to share with you my top language learning mistakes that I made to make my language learning a lot harder. Okay, so let's get into it. So number one is not starting from day one. The way to get out of this being embarrassed, oh I don't speak the language, I don't know, kind of awkwardness is just to start speaking from day one. So if you are learning, say Chinese, because I'm learning right now, and the only thing you know how to say is ni hao, you should say it all the time, even though that's all you know, because you need to just practice just saying the little things you know. And that's the biggest mistake I made, is I kept procrastinating and putting off speaking the language, like, oh, I don't know enough Spanish, I don't know, I cannot speak it, like, I'm gonna wait until I know more. But you can always learn more. You're never gonna get to a point, I feel like, where you're satisfied in your language abilities. You always can improve, you can always advance. So you cannot have this mindset like, oh no, I can't speak. You need to start from day one. As soon as you learn a word, you need to say it all the time. If even that's the only words you know, start from day one, putting in those good habits of speaking the language and not being scared and just using it. Okay, number two is putting all of your energy in studying the wrong things. I was actually studying like a Mexican dialect of Spanish, and I moved to Spain. So when I went to Spain, everything I learned was still Spanish, but it was completely not in the right context for Spain. So for example, they don't use a lot of the words that you use in Spain, in Mexico. They have their own different words, like muchacho and carro and way, all these other things that I was memorizing. So I had it, and I went to Spain and they did not use those words. Especially when you're studying from a book, like a university book, you're learning things for grammar and everything, but you're not learning colloquial, you're not learning how to speak in a normal conversation, and that's really what you need unless you're gonna try to be a teacher or something. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is memorizing the wrong pronunciation of a word. For example, when you write down the word hello in Spanish and it's hola, but you don't really hear it from a native speaker, so you just say hola or something, for example, and you are memorizing hola, 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 later on it's so hard for you to change it and say hola. And this still to this day affects me in Spanish, where I memorize something wrong in my Americanized Spanish accent that it's very hard for me to change it. And one of these words is video. In Spain they say video, but I always learn it as video because that's the alphabet. And still to this day, it's very hard for me to say video. I always say video. So if you can afford like a tutor or a friend just to have somebody to tell you this is right, this is wrong, so you're not memorizing the wrong pronunciation, will save you so much time. And another reason why this is very important is because if you memorize video and someone says video to you, maybe you won't understand. Obviously, I'm an English speaker, so that's very similar. You can pick it up, but you get the point, right? Like, pronunciation is so important, not only to be understood, but for you to understand someone else. And there's tons online where courses and apps where you can listen to the proper pronunciation and repeat. Don't just look on those ones where they just tell you the word and you just try to say it yourself. Listen to a native speaker. The next thing is translating in your head from your native language to the foreign language. I know when I first started learning Spanish, everybody said, don't think in English, you have to think in Spanish. And I was like, how am I supposed to think in Spanish? I don't speak Spanish, how am I supposed to do that? Of course I'm going to think in English, but the best way to do, instead of trying to translate everything, use the the sentences you already know in that language, and just kind of try to restructure your new sentences with that new structure. You have to use the phrases that you know are correct and make your own sentence using the same thing. And if you're translating, you're always going to change the structure back to your native language, which is, maybe it's not grammatically correct when you do that. I know it's really hard, but you have to stop as soon as you can. Of course you can translate words, but don't translate these long sentences from Google Translator. You can't do that, it's not going to be correct. And what they mean by think in that language is, if you know something is me gusta comer pizza, you can make your own sentence by saying like, okay, I know you have to say me gusta and then infinitive and then food. So you can say me gusta bailar salsa, me gusta ir al centro. The last thing I'm going to tell you guys, and the most important thing, is the biggest mistake you can make is trying to be perfect instead of trying to be understood. This was by far the number one thing that caused me to learn Spanish slower than it could have been. Instead of trying to just be understood, I was trying to be perfect. What I mean by this is conjugation and all this other stuff. Perfection is never going to come. It's going to come in time. This improving. You need to improve by making mistakes. So you should never be afraid to make mistakes in a language. So for example, what I did in the beginning, at first I wouldn't speak because I wasn't perfect and I was scared of making mistakes and being embarrassed. That's the first thing. But another thing was, I was always trying to think of it. So instead of saying like, oh, yo gustar pizza, I would be like, yo, gusto, gusto pizza. And it was still wrong. It was still wrong. So you need to just learn the verb. It will come as you go. You need to just learn how to be understood, because you're going to be understood if you say, people will correct you and they'll say, oh, ¿quieres agua? And you can say, ah, sí, ¿quieres agua? And they'll say, no, tú quieres, yo quiero agua. And this yo quiero agua. And that you will improve. And that is a lot better than just trying to being scared and not even making a mistake. Okay guys, so those are all my tips for the biggest mistakes I've made learning a language, and I really hope you learned something from this video. I hope you can take something away and you can apply these to your language learning now, and I hope it's not too late for you. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.